So, ladies and gentlemen, this interview is brought to you by Burn Up Coaching and Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, the 21-day challenge. And if you are an entrepreneur or high achiever and you've been struggling, you've hit a plateau, you're just looking for that next gear because you know it's within you, the 21-day challenge might be the perfect thing for you to reignite your self-belief, your passion, and take action to succeed like never before. What we'll do is you'll have one-on-one support, daily check-ins, weekly deep dive calls to make sure that you are kicking butt, taking names, and achieving your top priorities. So this is the one-on-one 21-day challenge, and if you're interested, send me a message. It's not right for everyone, but if you're committed and interested in becoming your greatest possible self, then it could be a great fit for you. So send me a message, chris@beyourgps.com, or you can send me a message on Facebook and let me know that you're interested in this. Looking forward to talking to you and seeing if it's a good fit for you to help you achieve your 21-day challenge goal. Next is the iTunes review of the week, and guess who left the iTunes review of the week? It was Luna Goon. And Luna Goon says, value packed, taking you to new levels. Chris is an incredible interviewer. He is super smart, silly, and has a gigantic heart of gold. He genuinely cares for his fans and bends over backwards to deliver high-end value for everyone he meets. This is a must listen. I recommend making time for it every week. Thanks, Chris, for your continued contributions. Lunagoon, thank you so much for that feedback. And if you want to give us a review, you can go to beyourgps.com/iTunes and then click rate and review and give us a review, or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on iTunes. You'll find it that way, or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on Facebook and give us a review there. We always appreciate it. Anything you want to tell us, let us know. Certain guests you love, certain guests you would rather not have on, let us know. We appreciate all the feedback. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, for the man and woman of the hour, these two are a power couple out of Las Vegas, and I'm super grateful to know them. I was introduced to them by my girlfriend, who is phenomenal and amazing and inspiring, and they are the exact same as well. It's funny how, who you are is who you attract, and these two human beings are just, from the bottom of my heart, amazing, such great friends in my life, and it's going to keep growing and going into our greatest possible selves together. So it's my privilege to introduce them, and they're going to be on in just a second. So Shannon and Eric Miller. Shannon Miller is a mom to two beautiful boys and a wife to an exquisite, that's a great word, exquisite man. Her journey began over 5 years ago after a devastating divorce and self-destruction of her body. She began to question if this was supposed to be life. Through her journey of self-discovery and physical transformation, there sprouted her passion. This passion was for showing others the way of living life based on their dreams and aspirations, not through the expectations of society. Her foundation and belief is that the physical body is a gateway to finding one's true power and strength. Shannon supports women and men in their health and mindset journeys to live free of physical and financial pain. And Dr. Eric Miller is an internal medicine, obesity medicine physician who, after practicing for 10 years, found himself feeling completely stuck in a career which he no longer was aligned with. Seeking to create massive impact as a doctor, he instead found patients getting sicker, bigger, and their medication lists getting longer, primarily due to lack of nutritional understanding and personal accountability. He realized his true purpose was helping them transform their lives through proper nutritional nourishment, focus on accountability, and ultimately the choice, their choices. And we are lucky enough to have Eric and Shannon Miller on today. So welcome, Eric and Shannon, to the show. It's great to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. We're so excited.
Awesome. We're going to have so much fun today. And let's start diving into the question and theme of the day, which is calling in your creations. So how does this concept of calling in your creation play a role in your life? And we'll start with Eric, and then we'll go to Shannon, because I know Eric loves to be that alpha and just go first and, go for it.
Yeah, sure.
I think for a long time, I kind of lived like most people do with kind of the notion that life happens to us and you kind of go with it and you are handed or dealt certain situations and you deal with them as they come. And that's just the way life works. But it's over the last few years that I realized that that's not really what I believe. That may have been what I was taught for years, but it's not what I believe. I believe that we are the creators of our life. We're the creators of our successes. We are the creators of our failures. And it's been only since I've realized that and really kind of embraced that life has really, really propelled forward.
Man, it's almost like taking responsibility for your superpowers.
But you got to take responsibility for the good and the bad. A lot of people, taking responsibility for the bad things in your life is a really difficult pill to swallow. So that's, but once I've been able to embrace that, it's just been amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Great answer, Eric. Thank you for that. And then Shannon, how about you?
Well, I think I'm, similar in the sense of, I grew up with the idea that life is happening to me. These are the cards that I've been dealt. And so you're just going to live in this little box and be like everybody else. This is just the way that it is. And when I went through my divorce, it was very emotional, as you can imagine. But there was a point where I was like, I think I get to take responsibility for some of this. And I created all of this. I played a part. I don't get to point my finger. And when I started releasing this notion that everything was happening to me and I played a part in it and I chose it, I realized everything started turning around and I started diving in. I have growing up a more religious background. And so I started really questioning everything down to what foods do you like? And part of that was creation and realizing that I could create and be and have and do anything that I wanted. And just like him, when I really started working on that and focusing in on what I wanted, all of a sudden, like things like the man that I dreamed of showed up. And it's just grown from there. So it's been an amazing experience, but it took some time. It took that downfall in life, that big ordeal for me to really figure it out.
Man, that's beautiful. And I know, Shannon, you have a journey about a mattress. I want to hear about that in a bit. Before we get there, though, because that was a cool story. I loved hearing that. Tell us a little bit more about what you guys do. We'll start with Shannon, as a team, and then individually who you are and what you stand for, kind of thing.
So really, and I'll speak for me because I know he has, we work together and we're on a mission together, but we also have a little bit of difference when it comes to what our vision, our excitement, where that comes from. But really what we base on is, number one, I'm all about you lead with the body. And really when you come into alignment with the body and you're really nourishing it and taking care of it, it opens up a whole gateway into another realm of what is possible in your life. And so, we focus a lot on nutrition, but it's really mindset and really helping men and women in creating the best versions of themselves and really propelling them on their journey in life and creating what they dream of versus what they were told that they had to do. That's really, that drives me. I love that. That's my favorite.
Wow. Amazing. How about you, Eric?
What was the question?
Who are you? What do you stand for? Like, what do you do?
So I am a recovering physician, I guess. I don't know how to phrase that, but ever since the age of 4, I wanted to be a doctor, and I don't know how it got there. It was actually really funny. When I was a kid, I would tell my grandmother and her little girlfriends I wanted to be a doctor and a comedian because I wanted to make patients laugh, and I wanted to make them feel good. So I knew there was something, helping people was some ingrained in me. And there were no physicians, no healthcare workers in my family, but it was just there. I don't know how it got there, but I followed that path, and it was always a passion of mine. But I didn't realize until 2 years ago that what I really wanted has come in a different package. So we were introduced to network marketing, and it's I know that might surprise a lot of people to find as much fulfillment and gratification in that career, but it's actually a lifestyle than anything else. So I still practice medicine, but my passion is really helping people. And like you said in my bio, it's really I love accountability. I love working on accountability. And that's where I think the field of medicine really kind of has a downfall because the field of medicine really disempowers people on a lot of levels. So people go there and they put their power in this person or this team or this medication or this procedure. And that really didn't work for me because I found people struggling with that and also falling victim to this long-term mentality of disempowerment. So I love supporting people and really taking accountability and really empowering themselves, because when people are empowered, oh gosh, like what they can accomplish, it's beautiful, and it doesn't take long. It's like that. So that's really who I be.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I totally love the aspect of network marketing, because anyone, it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, can start that business. That's how I started my journey 6 years ago. I just wanted to be an employee for the rest of my life as an electrical engineer. You know, that's all I wanted to do. I was comfortable making like 100 grand, whatever, 120. I was like, that's my life, I guess. my friend introduced me to a network marketing company, and I got into this world of personal development. And I would not be the man that I am today without taking that first step, without exploring, being curious about it. And what better way to live your life than sharing about things that you love, sharing about products that you already use. You know, if I could get paid by telling people to go buy an iPhone, like, I would do that. So I love the model of it. I love how anyone can start for, like, you know, practically nothing, when other businesses have hundreds of thousands of dollars of startup capital to get started. So not this one. So it's awesome.
Yeah, we know about that. We know about that.
You know about that. Tell us.
Oh my gosh. So, well, and here's the thing, and this is something that was really interesting to me and eye-opening to me, is when I met Eric, I had a little bit of a money mindset issue. Just a little. I wouldn't even, when we first, you know, when we were getting serious, I wouldn't let him tell me how much he made, because it didn't make sense to me. Like, that number, I'm like, what do you do with it? You know, I was a single mom. I was working my butt off. I have my high school diploma. I can only make so much money. And so when he walked into my life, I was like, oh my gosh, you don't get to drive those cars. You don't get to, that's not your stuff. That's his, you know. There was really a mindset thing there. But obviously, you know, we worked on that, and we came into the realization as a couple that we were getting married. Both of us have been divorced. Why are we getting married to spend all of our time apart? And so what do we do, Eric?
So the American dream, baby. So that's what we thought the paramount point in any success was starting your own business. You gotta be a business owner. So we, in 2016, we launched a concierge medical weight loss practice. So me being a physician and really focused and passionate about helping people with their weight, and Shannon was a personal trainer at the time, so she was really great at helping people implement and mindset and kind of incorporating lifestyle changes into their life. So we combined the two and we launched this practice, and we were so excited. Like, we were gonna help the world, and the world meaning the Las Vegas Valley, because that's how far our reach could possibly go. So there were two of us, no employees, no office, but so remember, no office, very little overhead, and it was $150,000 to launch that practice.
What?
Yeah.
So when network marketing came into our lives, number one, we were like, what is going on with these people that are not spending all this money and they're making all this money and they're happy? What is this? And so, you know, when we went from owning our own business into network marketing and that transition, to be able to run a company, a business with no overhead, basically, except for what we put in our mouths in our home, it was mind blowing to us, because we put $140 and we got this much return, because you know how long it takes to actually pay that down and make a profit. So it was, network marketing is an even playing field. You know, somebody with just a high school diploma, somebody that's a doctor, it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. You know, it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Like, anybody can do this.
I love what you said, Chris, that it kind of made me think of something that our mentor Zach says, that network marketing is really personal development with a paycheck. Yeah. And I really think network marketing, if more people understood it, it's I call it the most poetic expression of life, because you have to build yourself. If you don't develop yourself, that business will not grow. And if you don't help other people develop themselves, your business doesn't grow. So you only succeed by helping others succeed. It's beautiful. There's no competition like where in corporate America, we want to push people down, because otherwise they might try and come up to your level. Network marketing, please, like everybody join, like everyone come on with us, everyone rise with us. It's beautiful. It is the most poetic expression of life in business.
Wow.
Love it.
I love it. I love the community driven aspect of it too. It's like, you know, when we went to the event in Nashville, it was just so cool getting to be with all of our team in one place, you know, and it's like, boom, you know, like this big, larger than life group of people who come together to grow themselves, to show up and be their best. Like, I love how many people just show up to be their best, and what better people do we want to surround ourselves with? You know, people who are committed to showing up at the events, people who are committed to putting in the work, committed to getting on the phone calls, committed to showing up at the meetings, because if not those, then what? You know, what else are you going to do? Like, I did Toastmasters for 2 years. Awesome. Love it. Toastmasters is great. But I want to be investing my time into something that gives me freedom, into something that gives me a you know, financial and energetic return just by like joining it and sharing about it and putting in that work up front so it pays long-term residual. So I love the model. I love all about it. I do want to go back into some of the more challenging moments. You started this business, you spent a lot of money on it, but before that, like, what were some of the challenges along your guys' entrepreneurial journey? And Shannon, I know you had some challenges. I saw a Facebook Live of you one time. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear, you know, whatever you want to share about that, and then Eric will dive into your journey. What were some of the challenges to get to where we are?
Well, I'm sure people now want to hear about this mattress. So I'll give a little backstory of me, because I think it surprises people, especially when they see the now, right? It's really easy to look at people in the now and think, oh, they never struggled. It's just easy, which is not true in any way, shape, or form, especially when it comes to me. So I grew up basically here in Las Vegas, and I was engaged at 17 years old, and I was married by 19 and pregnant with my first son at 21. Wow. So life started very early. I graduated high school early. I told my mom I believe it was going into my junior year of high school. I was over the drama. I didn't like it. I didn't want to deal with it. I said, Mom, we have two options here. Either I ditch every single day, or let me go homeschool and graduate early and work full time. And she's like, well, okay, duh. So I went and I graduated early, and then I met my, you know, ex-husband, and, you know, we really were perfect for each other at the time. Like, we really needed that bond, and we were helping each other, kind of raising each other. Yeah. But I dove into marriage and children very early on, and I lived in a box. Like, I've never left the country. I'd never gone past Oklahoma or California. And, you know, I just had very little experience. And I thought that was what had to happen. That was just my life. And there came a point, my ex and I were married for 6 years, and we have two beautiful kids, as you said, the cutest little things. They're so cute. Every mom says it. Mine are really cute. It's true. But, you know, 6 years into that, you know, some things happened, and we decided to get divorced. And that was terrifying. I was in a space in my life where I was making $18 an hour, and I was looking at two children, full-time daycare. I had a car payment. I had a mortgage. I had medical bills for me and my little one, because he was in and out of the doctor. And I was like, how do I make this life choice? Like, there was a part of me that wanted to hold on because I was terrified. And this is where my creation and my, you know, thinking outside of that box I was in. I just thought, well, is this really going to be your life forever? Is this it? This is what you're going to do? And I just decided that it just couldn't be. That wasn't possible. And so I went into single motherhood, and it was just me and my boys, and it was rough. And so one of the things that happened to me, I still had my house, and I hadn't sold it yet. And I was, listen, Chris, when I say that I was resourceful, I was resourceful. And those children never knew the difference, you know, whether mom was struggling or not. Like, I took care of those kids. I didn't take care of me. That is one thing, you know, right, which we get into. But one day I got a knock on my door, and it wasn't just a knock. It was like a banging. And I didn't want to answer it because I was afraid. I'm like, who's at my door this time? And they're banging and I have my little kids, so I didn't answer. Well, the next day, my neighbor came over and said, Shannon, were you home last night? I said, yeah. She goes, well, Rent-A-Center was at your door. I'm like, Rent-A-Center? What? What do you mean? Oh my gosh. Well, I wasn't aware, but Rent-A-Center was coming to take my bed. And, long story short, I didn't know, and the bed was going. And so they decided to come back, of course, because they know where the bed's at. So they're banging on my door. And I knew the day that they were coming. And I had to make a decision. Are you going to open that door, or do you keep it closed and hang on a little bit longer and a little bit tighter? And in my mind, I did the switch just like with the divorce. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make it happen. I have $100. I have $100 to make a bed happen. And so I opened the door, I let Rent-A-Center come in, and they took this beautiful, Chris, it was beautiful, like pillow top mattress, it was beautiful. So they took the entire bed, headboard, footboard, all of it. They emptied my room out. And I remember I went out in the garage. I smoked cigarettes at the time. So I'm in the garage, right? I'm stressed and I'm smoking. It's awful. So I got to give the visual. So then I go back in and I have this empty room. And so I set some blankets out and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And so I got resourceful and I went on Pinterest and I found how you can make a headboard out of a door. So I went to Home Depot and found like a really cheap door. And I found some, I think they were 6x6s. I don't know. I called my dad, said, can you screw them in? I whitewashed them. I was like, all right, I can't afford a bed frame. So I found another cinder blocks. That's your bed frame. And then I went and I got a free California King from a girlfriend that got a new mattress. And I went and found like $25 for box springs. And I put that bed together on my own. It took me a couple weeks. I slept on the floor during, the period. And let me tell you, that was the most beautiful bed. I've loved that bed because I know what I went through, and it was only $100 for me to figure it out. But I could have easily held on to that Rent-A-Center. I could have said, like, don't answer the door, and just held on to the past. Wow. But there's got to be something better, and you can create whatever you want. And I held on to that bed, Chris, until I met Eric.
Wow.
He came over, I'm sure, was like, what's with the cinder blocks?
Yeah. I actually did. I said, you have cinder blocks under your bed? I
was like, yeah, that's the base. I was so proud, Chris. I was like, I made that thing. You love it. Yeah, I know you love it.
Wow, that's so powerful. And I love the story, and I wanted to share it and talk about it and bring it up because it just, like you said, shows how resourceful you were, and how even though we get to these points of like defeat, no matter where we're at in life, we'll hit these points of like, damn, I just like screwed up, or things aren't going the way that I wanted them to, or whatever. Like, you can still bounce back and change who you're being and how you're showing up to create a different reality, to call in a different creation. So I really, really am grateful that you got to share that, so our audience knows, hey, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. And I appreciate you sharing that, Shannon.
Definitely not.
So Eric, now it's your turn.
I think.
What was that?
Sorry, Chris. For me, I think it's. I'm sitting here thinking, and what comes up for me is that I was my whole life. I was a really good rule follower, like really good. I followed like the traditional path. Like, I just didn't question what society told me to do. I just did it. You go to school and then you have to go to college. Like, I'm from the East Coast. Like, you have to go to college. It's like, if you don't, it's like, okay, I'm not going to college.
He's not a college grad.
Right. You're going to college. He's not going to be anything. Like, that's what we would think coming from New York. So like, I was really I was a rule follower, and I would not deviate from society. I was asleep for a lot of years. I was on autopilot for a really long time, probably until I met Shannon and we started to kind of go down this road of personal development together. But it's just amazing. And sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 41. Like, I was asleep for a long time. I mean, in those times I was doing things people would think are, really successful. I went, residency, med school, practicing physician, inpatient, outpatient, but I wasn't awake at all. I really wasn't. I was just on a path that somebody set me on and just kind of gave me a nudge, and I just rolled down that road. And it was only until we got together and started doing personal development and realizing that I had not been consciously creating anything in my life, at least not I was aware of. So I wanted to. like I wanted to. I realized I have this power. I'm powerful. I get to do this. And so that's what we've been doing really for the last, 4 years, and in the last 2 years, especially just creating after years of not creating, after years of just following society's norms. And I'm off that path.
What do you feel like you missed out on by just kind of being on autopilot? I love how both your heads turned at the same time. That was awesome.
Like dogs.
It's a really good question. I think I lost out on who I really was, right? Because I was following a path of someone else's choosing, so to speak. I was just, again, I don't know how I became where the idea of being a physician came from, but nonetheless, I followed a path that was almost created for me and almost dictated for me. So I lost out on years of what would Eric really do? Like, what did Eric really want? Who really was Eric? I think to answer that question, I didn't know who I really was. I was filling a role. I was filling a title, and that's it. I filled a job description for years. I was, becoming a doctor. But what else? I don't know.
So what's the worst part about that? If someone in our audience is listening or watching and they're not living true to themselves and living their purpose, like, what is it really that bad? I mean, like, what's the worst part about that?
I just share the 40th and that what happened before your 40th and what you started realizing in that. Yeah.
What did I realize? I don't remember what I realized.
So before he turned 40.
She said help.
Well,
I'm 41.
She's setting the scene. He's 41 years old.
Listen, young lady. Shush, Shan, shush. So we go down this path, and when him and I first met, so 4 years ago, we put a lot on us. There was a lot. We blended a family. He, went from being a single guy to being married with 2 kids, like overnight, and it happened very quickly. And then we opened our own business. And so there's a lot of things that happened. But through that and developing ourselves, there came a point like right before his 40th birthday where I think the light bulb went off on just what you guys are talking about, on that he wasn't living consciously, that he was not even there, and all the things that he had missed out on.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to share that?
Sure. Yeah. I had this, it put me into a depression.
Wow.
I kind of waking up, it can be a little bit, it can be startling for anyone who's experienced that wake up, which we've experienced, especially last year. We did a personal development program, and it really woke us up. But with waking up comes certain potential side effects. So, I was 40 years old, and I realized how much time I'd wasted. And wasted not in the sense of, again, most people would look at my life and say, you didn't waste your life. You're a doctor. You're this, but I wasted relationships. I wasted time, really, self-love and self-care and self-acknowledgement and self-acceptance and connection with family. I had let so much time pass because I was not awake. I was not conscious. So I fell into a depression. It was really, really bad. She threw me in this amazing surprise party. I was so fooled up until 5 minutes before.
Yeah.
And I realized, when I say depressed, she couldn't get me into bed. I would cry, and I didn't. So I figured it out about 5 minutes before the party, and I said, I'm saying it calmly, but I wasn't calm. I said, I'm not going. I was with my brother. I'm not going. Like, I know I'm going home to a house full of people, and I'm not going. And I went, and I could barely muster a smile. And there were, 50, 60 people in the house, and it was awful. It was awful. And I said hi to people. I went upstairs, and I panicked in the bathroom because this wake up was really startling to me. And I had a lot of regret around time wasted. And I'm very grateful. I had some really great support. Our community just really hugged me. And I came out of that pretty quickly because I realized who I am and what I have. And but that was really, that wake up was very startling for me. But do I regret that wake up? Never.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Please, harness and master that story, because I was getting choked up when you were sharing that, man. I really, really felt that, and I think a lot of people can resonate with that. Like, that to the outside, life looks great. life is awesome, but on the inside, it's like, you know, we know that there's more for us. And then when it freaking hits us, it's like, like my heart is breaking, you know, and I really felt it. So, you know, thank you for sharing that, because I really resonate with that. And I know people out there who are listening will probably be like choking up and be like, oh my God, he's talking to me.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I always liken it to the Matrix, like when Neo's first unplugged and he's like, wait a minute, this wasn't real, this wasn't real, this wasn't real. That's what it was like. It's like I was unplugged, but then like Neo, grateful because I'm now really, really living.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. So we're talking as well today about turning the obstacles into opportunities. So you two have had some experience with that. I want to talk about what that means. How do we start doing that on our own? And for a listener or watcher right now, like what can they start doing to really turn themselves into a, you know, obstacle crusher, an opportunity maximizer, whatever we want to call it. Yeah. Tell us more about that.
So like when I hear that, I think, and this all comes in the development of oneself, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's truly perception. It really is. And how we view things that come up in life and family and business, it's all the same. And how you show up in family and business and relationship, that all gets to be the same as well. You know, I think a lot of people think there's a separation. There's not. How you show up in all of that is how you show up in everything. Yeah. And we say all the time, the way you do anything is the way that you do everything.
Yep.
That's a thing. But for me personally, one thing that was really very, very helpful, because I was afraid, Chris. I was afraid, like terrified. I was afraid to speak in front of people. I was the woman. He makes the joke that if I was in a restaurant and the server, this would be my obstacle, right? The server puts my plate down and there's cockroaches crawling around on my food. I'd be like, it's okay. You don't need to say anything. Just leave it. That was me, right? Yeah. I was terrified. Yeah. Like this would never have happened in a million years. You're crazy. So, but for me, it was obviously a lack of self-confidence and a lack of belief in what I could accomplish in life and in business and all of those things. And so what I found to be the most helpful for especially somebody that is really timid and afraid and they haven't found their power yet, you're not going to find your power by sitting back and waiting. You're not going to find your power by when an obstacle or a barrier, or, you know, some people call it an opportunity. It depends on how you look at it. If you sit back and go, okay, I'm going to get quiet and I'm going to be afraid, I'm just going to think about it, I'm going to contemplate this. That is not going to help you. Mm-hmm. You get to jump through the fear. It's in the experience. It's in the experience where you find your strengths and your power and who you are. And every time you jump through those obstacles or those barriers and you bust through it, you find something more about yourself. And I think it's just chipping away at those old beliefs and those old patterns of hiding or whatever that is for you. But it's truly in the experience and in the action that I think that's when it starts to really click.
Wow. Beautiful. Anything to add to that, Eric?
Yeah, I think for me, it comes back to the fact that we create. So if an obstacle presents itself in your life, we get to acknowledge that we have played a role in creating that. And in the creating it, we can create our way out of it. So it's just a matter of realizing that there is gifts and opportunity in every struggle. Zach always says you can either go through something or you can grow through something. So it's not sitting back and saying, why did this happen? Gosh, like why and why me? And this didn't happen. Gosh, it's realizing this is happening and there's a gift and there's something over the horizon. You just got to climb that hill, that mountain. You've got to peek over the horizon. There's something there. There's a gift in these obstacles, and there can be some people listening and they could think, oh my, well, gosh, like they don't realize how hard I have it. This happened. It could be a major tragedy. I understand that, but there's life continues. There's something there. There's a reason. There's a message. You help create this so that you can somehow get to the other side of something big.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like it's developing our character, right? Like any obstacle that we're facing right now is developing our character to handle the bigness, the life that we're committed to, that we're going to be living in the future. So it's like every obstacle or opportunity or whatever is a gift. It's an opportunity to grow. It's a moment to either, choose to show up and shine and take it on head first, or to stay small and to, continue that old pattern. I love life because it's a series of choices, right? Every choice we make determines our destiny, and every moment is a new moment to make new choices that take us in a different direction, which is
well, and
beautiful.
you know what, Chris? One thing that was a light bulb for me and I don't say recently, I've always felt this way, and I guess I just took me a while to really put words to it. But rather than developing our character, you're just remembering who you are. Yeah. Because, when I look back on the years where I was playing small and I was terrified and I lived in my box, that woman was in there. This is who I authentically am. I had covered it up with all the other stuff. And the only way for me to figure out that was even in there and I could use it and it was good and it was okay and it was powerful was through the experience. But again, like realizing that I created all of that other stuff and all those layers to begin with.
Yeah. And I love that you say that, because as kids, we are bold. We do like whatever the F we want. we challenge our parents. We're resistant, or we're perseverant. Like we keep going until resilient. Like we're bold and powerful, and we bounce back so fast. But like over time, there's all these layers that get added on to us of like how we're supposed to show up that really don't serve us.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Damn. So as far as like creating a life that you really love, right? Like choosing life and creating a life that you love, what does it take to really have a fulfilling and juicy, awesome life that you guys are creating?
Oh, I think it starts with self. Did you want to go?
No, I was just saying it starts with thought. It starts with the thoughts you say, the thoughts you think, the things you say, and the actions you take. That's it. And they get to be aligned. They get to project towards whatever it is, whatever life you want to lead.
Well, and I think that, I have this dream life, right? That people say, and this is my vision of what that is. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing is I think that as we go and through our experiences, we're going to grow new desires and new things that we want in our life. Like if you look at me 5 years ago, my dream life would probably be where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. And right now, my dream life, right? And so it's really learning to love yourself along the way and find the gratitude and the beauty in the process. But it really starts with loving yourself. If you're waking up every morning and you feel awful, and you don't like your body, or you don't like this, or you don't like that, and I don't like my car, and I don't like my house, and my kids are driving me crazy, your life is not going to propel forward. You're not going to be able to create whatever you want. And so I think it starts with really coming into alignment with who you are. And like I always tell people, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. It's okay to tell people I don't want to go to that dinner. Like I want to stay home and hang out and chill. You know what I mean? Just really self-care and really coming into alignment with you and what you want. I think that that's where it starts. You can't go any further if you don't love you.
I agree. It's actually funny. I was just thinking here for years, and I don't even know if Shannon knows this. I really believed in luck. I did. I believed in luck. I was a big lottery player. I believed I was going to get lucky and I was going to win the lottery. And so I played the lottery and I believed in luck. And it's really funny because now we talk to our kids and they say something about luck. We really challenge them on luck because at this point, I don't believe in luck. I really don't believe in luck. I believe in creation and manifestation and action and positive thinking. But so many people, they say they want a dream life, but their actions, their words they're not in alignment. It doesn't gel. So it doesn't work.
There's no creation in that.
Right. There's no creation.
You're creating what you have currently.
Right.
And that's it. You're gonna stay in there unless you like go more negative, but otherwise you're gonna stay where you're at. And so really like honing in on coming into alignment. It's truly about alignment and knowing that you have created what you have now, what you experienced in the past, and you get to create whatever's coming forward. And that's completely up to you and how you see that. But it starts with self.
Yeah, I think a big challenge that people have too is they think that everything will work out. They think that they'll get lucky. They think that things will turn around, but without like responsibility and like taking new actions, then nothing changes. What do you have to say to those people who are like hopeful and wishing that things are going to change and eventually, you know, it's going to turn around? How do they know whether they're deluding themselves or it's just patience? They really just have to be patient.
I put a post actually on Facebook today about this exact thing. And what I said is, you can't get there from here. You're not going to go over there by staying where you're at and doing and thinking and saying the same exact things that you've always said. Sitting back and going, well, hopefully one day that big $1 million check is just going to show up. Well, guess what? It's all there waiting for you, but you get to take action and do something different and think something different in order to get it. That check in the mail is really truly there. It's in the mail, just not actually in the mailbox, but it's waiting for you. So yeah, to me, it's when you're in development and you really start getting connected, you start to see it. Yeah. When you're doing things unconsciously, it's hard to understand. I had a hard time grasping that. But once you really, like, again, come into alignment, I mean, you could say, do you want to say something about that?
I was going to say, the first book I read when we started to do personal development, this might be kind of cliche, but I read The Secret.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, whoa, like it blew my mind. But I quickly realized that The Secret, there's something missing from The Secret. And we talk about this all the time. It doesn't talk about action. Yeah. Right? So otherwise you're just wishing. Wishing is great, but you got to take action. So it's so funny because the weekend I read The Secret, I thought we were on vacation somewhere, and I was like going to try this out. So I distinctly remember, this is a true story. You're walking down the hotel, the hallway. And in my mind, I kept thinking, I'm going to get water. I was really thirsty. I'm going to get water. I'm going to get water. I'm going to get water. I'm going to get water.
Very thirsty.
I was very thirsty. And the next thing I know, true story, there was a housekeeper there cleaning a room, and she randomly said, "Hey, hi, good afternoon." And I said, "Good afternoon." She said, "Would you like some water?"
Wow.
And I was they're cleaning their room, they're doing their thing, they're not passing out bottles of water. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, like,
he got in the elevator, he goes, "Babe,
I just made that happen.
I was thinking in my head over and over, It's like this little light bulb.
It's real, but on that small scale, we can do it on larger scale. But that was the first time I realized, wow,
maybe there's something to
there's something to it. And that began my realization of creation. Before that, again, I would have chalked it up to luck. Like, wow, coincidence. She happened to have water and she gave, like, coincidence. But I'm no longer. I don't believe that anymore. Yeah.
There's some universal mechanisms and physics and principles going on that sometimes we don't understand.
We're so powerful. We're so powerful. And I guess my wish is for people to realize how powerful. We're not just floating here. We're not so insignificant. Like people always say, oh, we're small, insignificant little speck on the small little planet. No, we are not insignificant. We are powerful. Yeah. So powerful. I don't think people realize they're not even scratching like the surface of how powerful they are.
Yeah, I mean, you even look at like my bed situation, and in a time in my life where I didn't understand creation, I didn't understand what all of that meant. I knew that I wanted something. But I definitely had to do something different outside of my box to get it figured out. And it was uncomfortable, but I made it happen. But everything, it was easy though. It just kept popping up for me. I was focused on what I wanted, and okay, I can do it within this frame right here. This is all I got. And everything just, okay, here it is. Here it is. You just get to grab it and go put it together, and it's all yours. So, and I think you could put that equation to anything in life. If you want it, you focus on what you want, it'll flow to you, but you get to open the door when somebody knocks and take the package. You gotta take it, open it up, and use it.
There's a couple steps. You got to be willing to open the door. You got to take the package. You got to open up, and then you got to use it.
Right.
Use it.
Makes sense.
I love it. For people out there who are saying, okay, Eric and Shannon, you went through these challenges in the past, and now you're doing awesome. Like you're replacing doctors' salaries and just kicking butt because of your residual income. It's amazing. What would you say is your big challenge moving forward, and what are you doing to grow through it and reach your greatest possible self, reach your next level?
I think it's acceptance of who we get to be as leaders. Because we feel we're leaders, at least I can speak for myself. I feel like a leader, but it's really embracing what leadership means. My idea of leadership was in the past is completely different than my experience of what leadership is now. So I think for me, it's really being able to harness my power as a leader, and instill that in others so they can become leaders, because that's what leaders do. Leaders create leaders. Leaders don't create followers, they create leaders. So that's, for me, I think that's what it would be. It's really harnessing and kind of fine-tuning my skills and my belief in myself as a leader.
Beautiful.
For me, I think same thing, and just really stepping and continuing to get uncomfortable, to grow in my leadership. And also to, it's easy to look and say, okay, well, they have this residual income and all these things, but we have a massive vision, and it's not just about, the income that's coming in. We have a passion for helping other people. And so in order for us to be those leaders, we get to live that and walk it every single day. And so for me, it's continuing to have grace for myself when maybe I don't show up as the leader and, that I see in my head, but continuing to get uncomfortable and grow myself and continuing to show up, and be proud and really stand firm in that. But it's also in our household. We, like I said, we have a blended family. And so continuing to grow as parents, because, we talk about when, the things that we say to our kids, right? And Chris, I know that like you've even mentioned it already. Like as a kid, you're all bold and you're this and that. And then people start telling you you're wrong. Stop doing that. You're not good enough. Blah, 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 you got to go be this. And finding that balance as parents and doing it different. We're learning. We're doing it we're not doing it the same way that we were we were raised. Right. And so really learning how to do that as parents as well, and showing up as leaders in our home, because I want my children to see a different way. So there's kind of two sides to that for me.
Yeah. Awesome. So Eric, you're growing in your leadership, owning that, and then Shannon, for you, it's also like being a leader and also challenging yourself to get uncomfortable, like to challenge that, go into that, and face that uncomfortable. You guys mentioned big vision. I would love to hear what you see in your future, what you're excited about, what's meaningful for you at this stage in life, the impact, the legacy that you're out to create. And I'm sure it'll evolve over time, but just from where you're at right now, what do you see?
For me, it's really, we're on this journey with, creating team and community. And for me, I see that, we have an amazing community, and we're very specific about the type of people we look for and the energy that we want in this group, because it's a very loving, supportive community. And for me, it's really just expanding even further. And really growing more, like we are worldwide, but really expanding this into more countries and bringing a larger community together, and showing people a different way. And I have a passion for moms. So, especially moms, giving them the opportunity to really like do life in a different way. But ultimately, I want to travel. I want to be able to travel, take our kids, experience different cultures. I want them to see that Las Vegas is not the only place in the world, and people live in different ways. And I want them to experience that. That's something that I was not able to experience as a child. And so I want them to travel with us, and us to be able to go and really make impact, not just here in the States, but also worldwide.
For me, I think it's really twofold. It's impact and freedom. And when I say impact, it's impact in people's health, because obviously I started as a physician, and one of the greatest things I became truly disheartened with in the medical field is I really didn't feel like I was getting people better. I don't think people are getting better at their doctor's office. I'm so sorry. This is how I feel. So impact in people's health, and then also impact people's financial status. Like for years as a doctor, I never thought I could help someone change the financial blueprint of their lives. But that's so beautiful. It's so powerful to see someone's life change, because money brings opportunity, money brings experience. Money doesn't change somebody, it just amplifies who they are. So showing people that that's possible, and that there's a way, and it's an equal playing field. So that's one thing. The other one's freedom. So time and financial freedom. So I really there's so many things we want to do. Like we haven't done anything that we really want to do for the most part. There's so much.
Not anything.
No, big things like travel, like get this woman to Europe. She's never been to. She's never been to Europe. Like
I haven't either. So hey,
you're coming with. Yeah,
let's do it.
So time freedom, financial freedom. I want to create true wealth, and that's not real, and that's not from a greed perspective, but what we can do with that, the lives we can help transform and change, the amount we can give. It's just it's so powerful. I want that kind of freedom. I want my children to have a legacy that we can pass along. And probably one of the most important things that I've learned that I take to this day is that money's the reward. I read a great book, The Go-Giver. So money is the reward. And when I was younger, I would just make money. But now it's impact. Yeah. The target is impact. Keep firing at that bullseye of impact and service. And don't pay attention to the income, because that's the reward that's going to come as long as you keep hitting that target. So it's just impact and freedom are two things that they're up there.
Awesome. I love this. So we're gonna do something fun here, because I've never done this, because you guys are a couple and it's cool. Normally I'll ask people a question like, not everyone, but I'm just feeling called to do this. Ask a question like, what would it's 10 years from now, and what advice do you give to yourself, right? What advice would you give to yourself? So I want to kind of mix this up a little bit. And Shannon, you are Eric 10 years from now. What advice would you give to him now?
Okay, so should I turn and hold hands?
Yes, absolutely.
My advice would be to be grateful for the present. And even though it's not the full vision yet, we're not living the full, that vision that he just gave you, even though we're not there, you're going to be there. And so if you're not present now, you're going to miss out. So love it. Be grateful for it, because it's getting you to where I'm at 10 years later.
Chris, am I getting feedback, or is this a game?
Well, it's feedback. That's 10 years.
You found a creative way of giving feedback.
You know what, Chris? I want him to talk to me later.
You guys, what happens behind closed doors and closed screens, that's you.
At leave meeting, we're like, that's it. We're done with it.
Love it. Okay, so Eric, you are Shannon 10 years from now. What advice would you give to her?
It's a very good question. What advice did I give?
This is really good.
This is tough.
It's super interesting. Go with whatever comes up first. Go. Let it flow. What's the...
I think it would be the same advice that she probably gives herself. It's just your body, love yourself. You're a piece of absolute art. You are just a masterpiece of creation. And love yourself no matter what, whether you're a pimple, or whether your makeup's not perfect, or whether your hair isn't perfect. Just love yourself. Just endlessly.
He's so sweet.
Amazing. So we're going to go the other direction now. And let's say you're both 10 years old. Okay. So that is what, like 4th grade, something like that. Anyways, so Eric, you're 10 years old. What advice would your 10-year-old self give to Shannon?
Whoa.
So Eric, 10-year-old, he's not Shannon.
No, you're not Shannon. You're Eric, 10-year-old.
Learn to cook really, really good. I mean, like take courses and stuff like that.
No, get real. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
What would Ty say? Our oldest is 9. He's in 4th grade. What would Ty say? Well,
what would
that age?
Okay, so what would 10-year-old me tell you?
Kid, no filters. What would a kid?
No gosh.
This
is tough, Chris.
Another 10-year-old girl.
I don't know. Can you go first, maybe? It's a tough question.
I would probably say, I'm going back to my 10-year-old self.
Yep.
I would probably say, don't listen to what any of those mean kids tell you. You're freaking awesome. just keep going, keep doing you. That was me.
Yeah.
Don't listen to those kids. Don't listen to those haters.
Yeah.
I didn't say haters, but that was me.
I would probably agree. I'd say like, don't layer. I mean, granted, it's good to like peel the layers at some point, but unfortunately, I don't think most people get to peel their layers in their life. But you don't have to protect yourself so much. You don't have to. We're so fragile and innocent. We're young, but don't allow so many layers to level on just because you cover up your authentic self by doing that. So
because of the perception of others,
right?
Yeah.
So the layers come only from others. Layers don't come from anyone. Like we put them on because in defense of the environment around us.
Go be you.
Yeah, go be you.
Keep going.
Or as you say to the kids, be you, boo.
Be you, boo. That's it. Go be you. Go be you, boo.
Yeah.
I love it. That was fun. You guys did great. I mean, awesome job. You should celebrate after this for answering that question because that was totally out of left field. I love it. So we're beginning to wrap up, and I think that's some great, parting wisdom that we're giving our audience. And as far as people staying connected with you, following you on your journey and finding out more, how do they do that?
So we're primarily on social media. So you can find us on Facebook, also Instagram. So Shannon Miller from Las Vegas, Eric Miller from Las Vegas, and then Instagram, Shan Miller LV and Eric Miller MD. But that's primarily where you see our faces, and we put out all of our fun, inspirational stuff. So we love it when people follow. So come follow, support. We love that. That's amazing. We do love a good Facebook Live.
We do a lot of Facebook Lives. We love Facebook Live, which is funny because we were petrified, and now we are absolutely in love with them. We were petrified. We were the worst. Those are different stories. Those are fun stories.
You guys rock it, and I know you're in a movie for our company, right? Like you're like on big screens and being shown to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, they have a new marketing video that's any person who looks at or comes into our organization will see this. So that's kind of surreal, and it's beautiful.
It's
amazing. It's just it was just really amazing to be offered that and to an experience to be. Video was interesting too. I'd never been involved in that.
Being like directed as like an actor kind of thing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a doctor. What are you doing?
My gosh, and not to mention it was like 115 degrees in there. They didn't put the air on, so that was a whole other. That was fun.
It's very authentic.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, you two are incredible human beings with your hearts just so big. I'm grateful to be connected with you, to be your friend, to be on the same team. And anyone whose lives we touch, I know they're just so blessed. So thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for being great parents for your kids and leading by example for them, and also being so committed to giving them a great life and leaving an amazing legacy for them. You two are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. This has been so much fun. Thank you. We love you, man.
Yeah, I love you guys too. Have the best day ever, and we'll see you soon, okay?
All right.
You too.
All right. Take care.
Bye.